Oh, the plot is getting thin. Oops, sorry about the lag, you guys. How's everybody doing tonight? 1 second here. Hang on, as I am having a little bit of audio difficulty. This freaking thing is doing what it wants. Give me a second. I'm starting this over because it's one of my favorite things. How's everybody doing tonight? We're going to get there. We're going to get there, guys. I promise. Here we go. There we go. You know, I just got to fire up a, I like to play a few clips. Here we go.
Get through this before I make it go away. That was the first explanation. Let's move on to the second definition. A statement or proposition that despite sound or apparently sound reasoning from acceptable premises leads to a conclusion that seems senseless, logically unacceptable, or self-contradictory. A potentially serious conflict, as an example, between quantum mechanics and the general theory of relativity known as the information paradox. Okay. So
do I ever get sick of hearing my own voice? You probably are wondering. No, I don't. That was the first 50 years of my life, you guys. I couldn't barely take my clothes off in the shower and look at myself naked. So, I figured the second 50 years ought to be something where, hey, Louise, how you doing? Where, I'm not so self-conscious of my voice. And my Junior, good to see you. Mustang, Eli, Boston, everybody's coming into the room. If anybody wants to call in, anybody wants to come on the air and tell a story, fine. Otherwise, we will get on with it here momentarily. I couldn't do a DFSC tonight, the Derek Farmer Social Club, as the Camry broke down. I think if anybody reads the community post section, I had to get a new alternator and battery, so my mechanic is taking care of that tomorrow. He ordered that stuff, and let me use his 5-speed Honda, his 5-speed manual Honda Civic tonight, which was super fun to drive. Haven't driven a stick shift in a little while, a few years. So being able to do that is always fun for me. I've always really enjoyed a manual transmission. Hiawatha saying, hey, or Mustang saying, hey, Hiawatha, and I agree. I'm glad you're back. I'm not sure if they took you, the aliens, maybe they took you for a while, gave you some training up aboard one of the Triangle ships off planet somewhere, but we're glad you're home now, and Junior's also home. Maybe you were in Kentucky looking for Junior. Hey, I don't know where you were at. Not my business, Hiawatha. At the end of the day, it's just not my business. You're welcome, Mustang. I'm not sure for what, but I'm sure happy to be here with you guys. But so yeah, I was sort of how many of you guys had oh good. I'm so glad you were bored. Oh, thank God. Hopefully this will be just barely Mustang, barely above boredom level entertainment. You know, like I can't guarantee you that Louise saying hi to Junior. Candy corn Mustang, how do I feel about that? You know, at this point, I mean, it already resembles what my mouth looks like, so I gotta say no to candy corn. Louise loves candy corn, however, and it is the holiday for that tricolored corn, a bit like Neapolitan ice cream, or even one guy that I was with a long time ago somehow had a tricolored, you know. But hey, that's a whole different story. But I was like, dang, look like you dipped it in Neapolitan, bro. Hey, Louise, how you doing? Says hi to Junior Boston, saying hello to Hiawatha and Louise. And Boston always is on point with her emoji game. You know, she's very seasons oriented, in my opinion, and I love that. Some of my favorite bands and music, actually. I think about like the Talking Heads, always making songs about buildings and sand in the Vaseline. You know, it's just like perfect, you know. Some people just have their things, and I consider Boston Christian both a seasoned person, but also someone who can appreciate the individual seasons of our lives. Mustang, I had to get some today. Huh. I'm not sure, Mustang. Well, I'm not sure what you were getting, but I of course went up to the local gas station where I thought I met a new friend because I'm desperate for a local friendship, guys. And I don't get along well with corporate types. You know, I just don't. They don't tend to understand me, and I kind of am looked down. You know, like ever since I lost my house, I don't have the same echelon of friends, and Mustang, and oh, I love those little pumpkins, though. Yeah, I love the little pumpkins. Those are better than the candy corns. I used to go through the bag and just eat the little green part off the top and throw the pumpkin back in the bag, you know? Kind of like the pimentos in the middle of green olives. Couldn't stand the green olive, but I'd suck the pimento out as a child. Yeah, I was good at that. It was real natural, they said. Oh, man. You got the pumpkins, too? Oh, good. Yeah, I forgot there's a holiday or something coming up here soon. I guess it must be Halloween, or is that kind of a fall thing, really, more than Halloween? Does anyone not like Halloween? Is there anyone here in the room that hates Halloween because they feel it's possibly evil or not representative of positive things? Although I've heard different stories and stuff about where Halloween comes from. According to a lot of the earlier legends, it would be basically kids asking for potatoes and onions because there was no food. And so the parents would send them around at harvest time, right around Halloween, you know, a little bit past harvest time, to hopefully get not a rock in their stocking, but a potato or two. Because times were tough back then, guys. We're talking the 20s and 30s, you know. But anyways, okay. I asked you guys a lot of questions, but then I don't give you a chance to answer. Let me start that over because I want to show you guys something. How many of you have heard, besides Hiawatha, of the USS Trepang and the photos that were allegedly taken from the bow of the Trepang, which was a submarine that busted up through the ice in Antarctica back in the early 70s and took several pictures of some incredibly anomalous looking craft. Now, the government denies that this captain pictures, but as the story and the lore goes, that captain actually was the real captain of that ship, and other things check out. They were possibly in that time, at the time. Right. The D, the big D, the big douchebag D, right? We don't even say their name. Yeah, I don't really do much celebrating of Halloween. I've never, thought it was intrinsically evil. As a kid, of course, it's just fun to run around with your buddies and cause havoc, you know. If you're from Michigan, you would turn on the news the day before Halloween because it was something known as Devil's Night. And during Devil's Night, when I was a kid, they would burn down half of Detroit every single year in celebration of Halloween. So they really get into their holidays over there in Detroit, you know. They'll literally burn their own city down for a good holiday or baseball game. Almost saying, hey, I got the pumpkins too. Anyways, this USS Trepang snaps off these photos, and then some years back they get leaked, you know. And I was just going to show them to you guys, see if you recognize any of these. I find these to be, hang on a second, some of the most incredible visual still pictures that I've ever seen. They give me a feeling. They give me a feeling of authenticity. Hi, baby, I know. Here we go. Now, oh, whoops. Hang on a second. There we go. Let me get this loaded up here. Here's one of them. So imagine this, okay, 1971. I'll read it here. And there we go. Now you can almost see, this is where apparently one of the pictures was folded in half. It's not a cross section of the periscope that goes up. I think these pictures were allegedly taken in Antarctica. You can see how close the sun is to the icy ocean there. Look at the size and shape of whatever the hell is hovering over that water. You guys see that? Zoom in and blow up your screens if you have to. Let's move on to the next one. Again, these were folded to my understanding, so that cross section there isn't necessarily, although this looks very periscopish, although I think there'd be some other, I'll get the thing out of the way there. But you guys can see the big section where it was folded all the way from there to there. Now, in this photo, it doesn't even quite look like the same craft. Almost like, can you guys see these okay? Let me go back to the thing here. Oh, good. You can see them, but I wish it was sharing what I was sharing now. What's going on here? Hang on a second. Oh, I see. I have to go back here and reshare it. One moment. I guess every time I you know, I'll get it right one of these days, guys. Just takes me a little bit. I wanted to get a closer one here. Here we go. And zoom in on that son of a gun. Bam. It'll pop up. There we go. Now blow up your screens. Now that's not the first one. So here is the second in the set of photos taken by submarine USS Trepang. That's Trepang, 1971. Okay. So it claims that there's proof they were photoshopped, guys, but we know the story, and these came out some years back. We know that every single legitimate thing that comes out, there will be a debunker there saying that it's been photoshopped, it's AI, it's CGI, it's, you know, some kid, it's the Brady's, you know, with the flashlight, and they're making the UFO on the bed sheet, and they're making it look like it's going across the backyard there in the Brady household. But you know what? No. I don't agree with that. I think these are legitimate. And I've heard other people, like I think Richard Dolan, even say that there is some legitimacy to these based on who was there. Now it says the photos were taken from a United States Navy submarine. The location was between Iceland and Jan Mayen Island. Okay, Jan. That'd certainly be some of that, you know, sort of tall white people island talk. In the Atlantic Ocean. Wow, the dog farted real smelly. Oh, baby. Oh, that's gross. Jan Mayen belongs to Norway. Okay. And it's only, hang on, I gotta light this doobie to counteract whatever's going on in this small RV. and is only inhabited by the Norwegian Meteorological Institute and the Norwegian military. They were taken March 1971. The submarine was the Navy's USS Trepang, and that's SSN 674. And the admiral on board was Dean Reynolds Sackett, Sackett. Obviously, the next step is to try to locate this Admiral Dean Reynolds if he exists. The submarine came upon the object by accident as they were in the region on a routine joint military and scientific expedition. Officer John Klika, Klika, was the one who initially spotted the object with the periscope. So there we go. This obviously implies that it wasn't ours, and unfortunately doesn't explain the different objects seen in the pictures. Top Secret claims that on one of the pictures there were some inscriptions. I don't have a version of this, and it's too faint to see on these photographs. Oh, meaning a inscription on the actual craft. Upper left says official photograph not to be released, CT, period. In the bottom right corner, it says unauthorized disclosure subject, security certificate, SSN 674, criminal sanction. I cannot confirm these at the moment, and I don't know if the spelling is of certificate is just a reproduction error since these were revealed in their magazine. Photo gallery of high-resolution photographs, not from a magazine. On July 13th, I was sent the following photographs via email. These are the original photographs that created the hype about this case, but they supplied me the original scans of the photos, not from the magazine. Hang on a second. Let me get this page loaded and wait till you guys... has anyone familiar with these guys? I know that I'm asking you again. I just have not looked at the, you know, and if you guys aren't talking about that, that's fine. You know, you don't have to talk about whatever I'm talking about. You can chat amongst yourselves if you want, and I'm glad. That makes me happy. Mustang, I do love seeing all families and the kids out having fun and cute costumes. Yeah, that part I agree with you. What is Junior likes Halloween? What's more adorable than you know, little youngins, you know, dressing up and getting all excited to be Spider-Man or a princess or, you know, whatever, and going out and hitting the neighborhood and letting it be their night. And I agree. I feel as if Halloween is a kids' holiday to be celebrated, you know, by kids. And not necessarily so for something like Christmas, even though, it does involve, you know, Christmas is more gifts for kids, let's say. But at the same time, I feel Christmas gives an opportunity for the entire friends, family, and community to come together in a, you know, in a certain way. All right, hang on here. I'm going to share these original photographs, not from the magazine article. Oh, and I should be able, damn it. Oh, well. Well, anyways, I'm just going to leave them like that. You guys can zoom in. You can see in the upper left-hand corner a large amount of ocean spray. This thing's coming out or going into the water, you guys. Look at photo 2. It's now directly vertical above the water. And photo 3 is the first photo I showed you where it looks like what you would call a Delta Wing aircraft, but it's just sitting there, you know. I guess we don't know if it's hovering. That could be actually a military aircraft. Now in photograph 4, it looks like a fat triangle or a skinny pyramid. I don't know what photograph 5 is. I've never seen that one. It's going into the water without any spray. And then you can see photograph 6, where the long object that was more cylindrical looking, and photograph 7 and 8 for that matter. And then 9 was one that I showed. So those 4, I think, go together of the craft coming out of the water, then hovering above the water. I find these photographs just highly interesting, especially like this one here with the ocean where the ocean is spraying up. I don't know, you guys. I really feel like these are the real deal. But so there's those. So if anyone wasn't familiar with those, there's those. Now, hang on a sec. Get here. What's going on? Oh, whoops! I had my own screen blown up. Junior says, I'm a kid at heart. My grandma made awesome dressing, but I can't get it right. To Junior, she says that. Now, I make a very good dressing. What did your grandma do? Did she stuff the bird, so to speak? I don't do that. I don't put the dressing in the cavity, but I make it with a little bit of ground sausage, a good amount of onion, celery, real butter, essence of bird in place of water. I always use that sort of, after you get done cooking a bird, it has that, what you make the gravy out of, that big, beautiful ocean of golden, whatever that is, that delicious essence of bird, I call it. Yeah, I make stuffing every year. I used to put on Thanksgiving and sometimes Christmas every year for my entire family and friends for years and years and years. And I would even do a separate vegetarian venue for, so I would make a dressing that wasn't essence of bird. I'd have to use replace it with, say, vegetable stock versus, Now, I don't mess with oysters. Boston says, Junior, I bet it is. Of course, you being, Boston, if you're from that area, I don't think you live there now, but you might have a hankering for that locally. Says, I make my grandma's oyster dressing, but last year I had to use chicken thighs for the meat instead of $80 for the oysters. Boy, was my family upset. Well, tell them to pitch in for goodness sake. $80 just for oysters. They're gross. I'm sorry. For me, they're gross. I like clams, but I never heard of clam dressing. You heard of clam dressing, Thad? Okay, say hi. Look he's just staring at me, you guys. How do you know when you're on camera? He just looks backwards at me, just stares at me like he's in love with me. I love this doggy. He's a good boy. I know, baby. Oh, I know, big nose. Well, anyways. So, you got to have the sage. Sage is something that equals dressing. It's almost like making Mexican food without paprika and cumin, You sort of have to have certain spices for certain, foods. It's like having cabbage without sauerkraut. It's kind of tastes like a fart smells, I guess. I don't know, Steve. You might be dreaming right now. Are you? You did if you love stuffing. Your favorite dessert? Yes, man. It is like dessert almost. It is Steve, if you had to have your choice, and you said, look, you could either have mashed potatoes and gravy or stuffing and gravy. Whoa. How do you even keep that scale close? I agree with Mustang. Mr. Steve, good to see you. Clam chowder, again, Mustang smells like the Hudson at low tide in my place after I cook that kind of stuff. And about the only thing I ever tried with clams that weren't deep fried clams. Okay, let me get it straight. If you can stretch it back and shoot it at someone's head, it's too stretchy, it ain't cooked enough, okay? Mustang. I love, Mr. Steve, here's the thing. I love Thanksgiving. It is truly my favorite holiday, not being an overly religious person, not really much caring for the gift-giving guilt aspect of Christmas or birthdays, let's say, but as a national holiday. There are a couple national holidays that stand out as truly American, truly peaceful, democratic, fun-loving holidays to me, like the 4th of July and Thanksgiving, and maybe even some degree Halloween. Although I don't consider that a national holiday unless you're a kid, really, there's really no reason adults should be getting geared up and super excited, in my opinion, for Halloween, unless you really love it. Now, let's take Kristen, for example, behind the crime door. Her birthday, as I know, and you all probably know too, is on Halloween. She's told us that many times. So something like that is a little extra special, and she truly loves Halloween. But when it's your birthday, it probably gives you that little a bit of extra incentive to sort of get into it, I I knew people that had their birthdays on Christmas, and it was always a big downer for them because they felt like they did not get, they sort of got shorted on one end of that. And, you know, like I said, I had a Jehovah's Witness grandma and an atheist grandpa. So, you know, really Christmas and those holidays were never big in my household. Although my mom and stepdad, you know, I lived with, you know, they raised me and we had Christmas and stuff. But it was real, just me and my mom, my stepdad, and my sister, and that's it. I have a very small family. Junior reminding Mr. Steve, in case he's not feeling well, the dressing is not a dessert, Steve. Oh, Mr. Steve. And take it out of the box before you cook it, Mr. Steve. Come on. But now I have never gone as far when I make my dressing to crust up my own bread, so to speak. I know a lot of people will square off their own bread, let it sit out, and do it that way. I've always bought the Pepperidge Farm or one of those bagged, not stovetop, not a store brand like box. You know, that's not good enough because I do like to use all my own stock and all that kind of stuff. But for me, whoa, did you guys see that? Did you guys see the curtain fall off? That's weird. That window's not even open. What if a hand just comes through there right now, or like an orb or something? That'd be weird, huh? Or a werewolf. That'd be so awesome. Oh yeah, remember I talked about that giant bird. Oh wait, I want to show you guys. It's only a 47-second video. Check this out. Now I'm going to show, hang on, you got to see this before we move on to Stuffing World. So I don't know how you guys, Jiffy is not real cornbread. I can make great cornbread. Junior, I bet you can. What, you know, we always, no matter how hard I try to talk about anything else, it's always going to come back to food on this channel because I love to eat. So hope you guys don't mind that. But here we go. Okay, you guys, now before I hit play on this, hang on. I want to make sure it's set up because I screw it up all the time. Here we go. Pop on there. Come on. Pop on. No? Let me redo it. Oh, no. There we go. Okay, you see that little official, whatever that shield is? Okay, that's supposedly like one of the military branch shields, okay? This film is purportedly from the 40s, I believe, and is referred to online as the Skinny Bob footage. However, the leaker that let this out in 2011, his name was Ivan035, let out 4 videos, and that I will not be I'm going to show quickly the Skinny Bob. But this I want to show you first. And I want you to get a feel for this authenticity of this video. Jalapeno cornbread stuffing is my kryptonite. I have never had anything like that. But in a way, Mr. Steve, what do they call that? Word synchronicity. I did have jalapeno poppers tonight. So I'm with you on one end of that. And if you eat that, we'll both be doing something else out of the other end. Okay, here we go. Watch this, you guys. Check this out, man. And when I tell you this is freaky, I mean it. Watch it. You can hear the 16mm film footage going. Look at this. This is of Skinny Bob's crash. One crash, okay, they're going, that's like some kind of riverboat. You see that object in the sky? Now they're flying in a plane or helicopter. You see there's an object flying right directly next to them that is circular. You see that? That's Skinny Bob. Okay, that's the dead one. One lived and one died, I think, and it's pretty graphic, you guys. So if you're affected by that kind of stuff, it's incredibly graphic. Blow up your screens if you need to. Okay, so that was that one. Let's move on here. Now here is the one that survived, known as Skinny Bob. Hang on, I'm gonna wait for him to load up here. Let's give Bob a chance. Now, what I want you to pay attention to, hang on a second. Keep in mind, you guys, this, okay, it was leaked in 2011. So let's say it was a fake. It would still take an inordinate amount of talent and money to make something that would be able to have the movements such as the Skinny Bob video. And by the way, to this day, it's never been debunked. So here we go. That's Skinny Bob. Look at his eyelids when he blinks. Look at the wrinkles above in his brow, in his forehead. Okay. I'll just be quiet for a minute and let you guys soak this in. There are two additional videos, but I'm not going to play those tonight. You can see him blinking. He has very large eyelids, as we know. His variety of non-human intelligence does have very large eyelids. By the way, are very large eyes, I should say. Okay. Oh, I got to get rid of that, or they're gonna find me or whatever. Okay, what do you guys think of that? I mean, isn't that fascinating? We had brown beans, cornbread, and fried potatoes a lot. Really? By brown beans, do you mean pinto beans? Will that be the same deal? Because I grew up with some Southerners up here in the north that beating them pinto beans with some fat back in it, you know, and some cornbread, and that was like, and fried potatoes. And you really almost, besides that little bit of fat back, didn't need a meat dish. It was so filling and delicious, you know, especially with a good cornbread. Oh, I do love that. Boston saying True Crime Web, yum. Mr. Steve, you're okay with the hot stuff then, I take it. You prefer a good hot, like hot, I mean, you like, you know, like a good salsa or a hot, do you like Mexican food? I'm wondering. I mean, I've never met a person that enjoys eating that says I hate Mexican food. Although I've understand that more traditional Mexican food can be a bit more bland in nature. As of course, as folks were cooking things in certain areas, they didn't have a lot of, you know, spices would be more of a regional delicacy than something that you could just necessarily buy off a store shelf, locally speaking. Cast iron skillet cornbread is the best Mustang. It's the only way to make it. Let's face it. If you can't cook it in a skillet, well, then find someone that can, I guess. I'm not a good skillet cook. I don't understand skillet cooking. True Crime Web. Boss is saying to True Crime Web, nothing better than oyster dressing. And Farmer said, let's add clams. Let's add deep fried clams from Elias Brothers with some tartar sauce to that shit. That's what Farmer meant. I don't want some clam on a half shell. Okay? Unless you want to see me literally turn green. But look, I like a good perch fillet. Freshwater only. Don't try to give me something you call an ocean perch. We know that's a grandmother. You know, that came out of somebody's, bottom feeding creek. And I'm not eating that shit. Steve saying hello to Mustang and everyone. But yeah, as far as stuffing goes, I mean, that's a great subject. We could do an entire show on stuffing, of course. But as far as the side dishes go, I'll just officially say stuffing is my favorite. I like it way better than, I don't like mashed potatoes, to be honest with you. The only kind of mashed potatoes that I enjoy at all are, honestly, imitation mashed potatoes because there's no lumps. I don't mind, say, a KFC or a locally around here, a chicken coop or a Lee's Famous Recipe instant potato situation. I mean, it'll keep you warm in the winter and keep your belly full too, you know. Excuse me. Sorry about that, you guys. I should hit that mute button when I cough like that. I will get used to doing that. True Crime Web saying, Junior, don't judge my dessert choices, man. If something tells me you are kind of being serious, but I do like to guess things about people. You're from Georgia. Now, they make a good dessert in Georgia. And something tells me you like pie just fine. A la mode, most likely. And if you had to pick a favorite pie, Mr. Steve, I'm just going to guess and go out on a limb. Oh, shit, man. Give me a second on this. I really need to think about. Okay, we're going to have to come back to it. I'm gonna pick out of thin air Mr. Steve's favorite pie. But I'm not going to do that right yet. I have to think on it for a minute. Mustang saying dressing is better than pie to me, so I get Mr. Steve. Wow, I didn't even know that comment was there. So that was a great comparison there. A Jiffy is not real cornbread. We did that one. Let me go down here. What's going on? I gave Jinxie one of my grandma's iron skillets to make cornbread in. Oh, really? Jinx from around the channels? I remember Jinxie. I'd like to say thanks to tonight's sponsor, Cheech and Chong, Mr. Cheech and Mr. Chong. Thank you guys. You guys are still doing it after all these years. You know, it's just a miracle. Mustang saying, Junior, that's how my grandma always cooked cornbread. And I'm not kidding. I'm not just making a joke either, guys. I mean, I'm really, you know, these are from the boys. It's upside down, but that says Cheech and Chong. And they do really well on them. I can see those guys are sitting in their apartment right now, just twisting doobies all night for every dispensary across the country. Boss is saying, Mr. Steve, yum. And Boston saying, Junior, that is so kind. Let's see here what Mustang has to say. Oh, yeah, well, the brown beans. Did you answer me on that one, though, Boston? Are you referring to pinto beans? And I'm still narrowing down soup. I saw the word soup. Sorry, Steve. Steve's favorite pie. I don't want to go with the obvious peach pie because that seems too obvious. Although I'm sure he likes it okay. You know, I'm from Michigan. It doesn't mean I eat Wolverine pie, you know. Okay, Mustang saying, Boston, did you ever eat scrambled eggs with green onions? And if you haven't, you should. Throw a little bit of cream cheese in there, and you got yourself a real delight. Junior says, soup beans. Oh, Grandma's here. Look out. Saying hello to everybody. And we're saying hi back to you, Grandma. Although you can always say hello on this channel to people individually as much as you like. I don't ever want you guys feeling constrained with grouping everyone up or not being able to individually recognize each other, as I think that's something our channel brings to the internet that's not there. And brown beans or pinto beans. Okay, all right. Yeah, in the north here we have what they call great white north beans or something like that, and they put them in all kind of soups. Navy bean, I think, is the same name for the great white north bean. But I do like those pinto beans, you know, being raised with only two things. Wait a minute. Only two things I was like, hot beer or a cold beer joint. Okay. If you would have just left it without the word beer on the second part, I might have pooped my own pants. But okay. Oh, yeah, hot beer is disgusting. Cold beer joint. You mean like a place to drink it at? Or you don't like it too chilly in there? I'm an air conditioning fan. But you're in Florida. You must like the heat. But, Mr. Steve, I see that if you're in Florida, even if you're in Central Florida, you got to be able to find some backwater somewhere where you can get on a dock and have some of them big fruity drinks, you know. You can even have those non-alcoholic, and they're delicious. You know, being from Michigan isn't quite like being on the ocean, of course. It doesn't quite smell the same. But I will tell you that you can't see across a Great Lake, and you cannot see on your periphery the end of a Great Lake. So as far as you know, it is an ocean without the smell. And not that it doesn't have its own odor sometimes. And I would like to thank Palisades Nuclear Power Plant for firing back up this year. And I understand they will be warming their area of the lake for the polar bear swim. So I do appreciate that. Mustang saying hi to Mr. Steve, and Boston saying hi to Grandma. Yeah, the Palisades has been out for a few years. They shut it down, but I guess they're bringing her back online. Mustang, sounds like we all need to visit Jinx and enjoy her cornbread. Jinx been sitting back all quiet over there making Junior's cornbread in that iron skillet. Well, I didn't even know you guys knew each other, Junior. I mean, but I never try to put... Here's the thing, guys. Like on here, like, yeah, I like web sleuthing. I like figuring stuff out. But, like, I'd never try to put together if people knew each other or, like, personal details of people on here. That seems creepy to me. So, I mean, you know, that's cool, though, that you guys do know each other. Hey, for all I know, all of you guys know each other, and I'm the only one that doesn't get to hang out with you guys. You guys are probably all on the same bowling league, and you're like, don't tell Farmer. He can't be on the Ah, damn it, Mr. Steve. Okay. Now you have thrown me. It raises a lot of questions, Mr. Steve. One, how could pie be a least favorite choice? That makes no sense to me. Two, German chocolate cake for birthday only. Maybe you're just not a big dessert guy. That I hadn't considered. Maybe you really are a meat, like give me the main course. I'm kind of like that, to be honest with you. In fact, I wasn't raised in a family that had dessert after dinner. Dessert was like a hostess ding dong, or a, whatever, cherry pie thing. My mom worked for a living, at 40 hours a week, 2 kids. And she was like, I'm making dinner. I'm not making dessert too. But sometimes she would. And I remember the first time I had cheesecake, I said, I'm never eating. I didn't even want to try it. It looked weird to me. To me, cheese was meant for like hamburgers, not for cake. But then you taste it that one time. It's like key lime pie. It's like you either love it or hate it, You like key lime pie, Mr. Steve? You're down there in the key lime state. Or whatever they call that place. Boston says, apparently I'm allergic to hops or something in beer. It would be the hops. Yeah, a lot of people are. Yep. I would think it would be the hops. How do you do, though, otherwise with, what's that thing people don't like? Gluten? I know beer has an ample amount of gluten. And that I know someone who has, there's an intestinal disease, that Crohn's disease. And he had part of his lower intestine removed, to be honest with you, and it didn't go well. And he can't have gluten now because it irritates that Crohn's disease. And so he has to find gluten-free beer and gluten-free bread, which is basically a brick with something on it. But he's really good, now after all these years of knowing how to cook it and stuff. And he feels so much healthier, not really keeping that Crohn's disease in check, because it can be a deadly disease, Crohn's. Oh, yeah, cherry cheesecake up here in Michigan, of course, because Michigan is Cherryland or something. I don't really know, guys. But we're known for our cherries. Is there anything than walking up to a fruit tree of any variety? Sorry, guys, I paused. But is there anything greater than walking up to some variety of fruit tree and plucking something out of a tree and just, giving it a quick wash and eating it? I find that to be like a visceral experience. I love that. So, okay, well, then it's out then, Steve. But, I mean, if I had to pick a pie then that you did like, since you don't really love pie, then I would go with a traditional apple pie. If you're not a huge pie fan, I think you would go with something more mainstream, like apple pie a la mode or something like that. I could be wrong. Possibly something more niche, like a rhubarb. If a family member, grandma, aunts, whatever, made that, if you remember, I'm always trying to solve the case, Mr. Steve. What kind of pie you like is part of one of my cases, and I'm this close to getting it solved. Boston saying, never had a cold, but I have had often A&W root beer. Oh, yeah, well, we have that up here. It used to be called the A&W root beer stand. You know what I think? And now it's a local called the root beer stand, but they make their own root beer. And by the way, that's another wonderful thing in life is homemade root beer. I mean, it's so damn good. And to think that they boil it out of some, root, and it's literally comes from a root. Another good root, a thing that I love is a good horseradish, a homemade My uncle makes the best damn homemade horseradish, and he knows how to get these roots. He's so good at getting things free from the side of the road. They've been, him and his wife, they're 80 now. And she just wiped out on her motorcycle. Aunt Bonnie, I hope you're doing okay. She had to have plates and pins put in her ankle. 81 years old, riding her motorcycle up north on dirt roads. But they collect cans. She bent over to pick up a can. Boom! Bike comes right over on top of her leg. So we a shout out to Aunt Bonnie. I'm sure she's not watching me, but if she is, bless your heart. And my Uncle Don would they not only did they consider now see they would get the cans, but they had a real method. Ever since the law changed in the 80s, they've been taking back $10 a week, and they even get the flat ones and would wash them. He'd wash up $10 a week in dirty cans that he found, and always, every single week, all year long, take them back. He had that much of a backstock. And not to mention all kinds of other weird shit that you find in ditches by Detroit, Michigan, riding around on your motorcycle, because everything's a ditch over there. Newport packets and 40-ounce bottles everywhere, and everything's a ditch. There's no hills, in other words, you know. It's like the salt mines and all. It's all very flat when you get to the east side of Michigan. Over here in southwest Michigan, Mr. Steve, not sure if you've ever driven through southwest Michigan on, say, Highway I-94 between Detroit and Chicago. Kalamazoo is exactly equidistant, 121 miles each way. Obviously, Detroit being east. Well, whatever I'm doing with my hands, I don't know if I'm actually going east or west, but one's east, one's west. Yeah, I like it too. I'm not going to lie. Key lime pie is delish. It's real rich, so I know that I won't eat a lot of it, like one good size piece instead of the 2 to 3 pieces of a regular pie that I could probably eat. Mr. Steve say, my go-to dressing or cornbread with chili. I love chili. Cornbread with pot roast juice. I love how you... Oh, my God. You make me laugh, damn you, Mr. Steve. By the way, no beer tonight. Just a nice orange Fanta. But I decided I was having... that my one beer on my one, a show was too much. So I had to cut the beer. Maybe once a week or something, but I don't even like drinking one for a live show. I don't want to ever feel like I need a beer to be able to talk, to be honest with you. I want to feel like I could come onto this box completely, maybe not without coffee. I won't push it, or cigarettes, but you know what I'm saying? I don't need weed. I don't need beer to come on here and talk to my friends online. I don't need that in real life to talk to my friends, Let me see what you're saying here and asking me, do you go swim often at the beach? No, Boston, I can't afford to go swimming. I mean, one, they want to charge you everywhere you pull your damn car up these days. And two, Lake Michigan from here is probably, I don't know, it's got to be at least 45 minutes away. Same from Kalamazoo. I mean, I've swam in the Great Lakes, all of them with the exception of Lake Superior and Lake Erie and Lake Ontario. I guess I've always swam in Michigan and Huron, but a bunch of times in each of those. As my Aunt Bonnie, they live now over, they used to have a vacation place up in a place called, up near Tawas, Michigan, Eau Gray, Oscoda, where we would ride canoes every year down the Osable River on overnight trips. I missed your UFO comment. Yes, I sure did. Hang on, Boston. I'm going to go back, okay? Hang on. How long ago was it, Boston? Oh, was this Boston, was the UFO pre-stuffing talk? I mean, I can narrow it down that way. Mr. Steve kind of started, I don't know if he started us out. Nope. But he did bring up the jalapeno stuff. Hang on, Boston. I'm really surprised with what a good chat we get going with how few. There are 6 people, according to this little eyeball thing, watching the show. So the fact that we have such a great conversation going makes me so very happy, you guys. And to me, that's what it's all about. See, I feel like on a strict web sleuth show in the chat, if we're not trying to figure out the crime, that it's almost like I don't want to be disrespectful to like victims or, but over here, since it's a variety show, I feel like it kind of gives us that levity to just basically talk about whatever we want in the chat. Boston. All right, I don't see it, Boston. I love cooking 3 days for Thanksgiving. Okay. Well, we're back to the little candy corns and how evil Halloween can be. Oh, I screwed up. I have to go back because now I don't know what's going on. Boston saying, Mr. Steve, we poke holes in German chocolate cake, pour in caramel syrup and sweet condensed milk. Let it sit in the fridge, then cool whipped topping on top with crushed candy bar. What are you doing to me? Well, but do you mind repeating it though, Boston? I guess because if I have to scroll back, it's too hard at this point. Junior saying it's like the Ed Sullivan Show. Welcome to the shoe. Eli saying, Farmer, you really see something that looked like a candy corn? Hell no. Yes, it was candy corn in shape and flying in the sky. Oh, Olivia's here. Hi, Olivia. Olivia, saying True Crime Web. Where have you been for the past 7 months? Did you forget your members? Okay, Olivia. Well, one thing we don't do over here, Mr. Steve, you don't have to answer that. One thing we don't do over here is we don't badger people in chat. And you're not used to being in my chat, but I'm just going to set the rules down really quick. Mr. Steve can just do whatever he wants, and everyone always has a choice to be a member to whoever they want. So over here in the Derek Farmer channel, we're not going to be asking other members why they do or don't do anything. Sorry, Olivia, if you don't find that appropriate. Mr. Steve saying, Boston Christian, I will need 3 of those for scientific purposes, asking for a friend. Mm-hmm. And I will be deleting that comment. Eli saying, oh, wait, we already did that one. Okay, you guys got to type faster. I'm out. I'm out of comments. I'm out of UFO videos, damn it. And it's not even an hour in yet. Yeah, sorry. I don't mean to come on harsh like that at all. I mean, I really don't. But when I'm modding for someone else's channel, one thing I won't put up with, and one thing that honestly Sleuth didn't stick up for his mods on, was when if someone said something shitty, I would kick them out of the room. Every other person in the chat's going, well, why'd you kick them out? Why'd you do this? And to me, that's badgering the mod. If you put a mod in charge to do something, oh, Mr. Steve is a mod. He could have kicked her out himself. Well, I don't want Olivia to go anywhere. I just don't want her making comments like that or putting people on the spot. No one comes to my channel, the Derek Farmer Social Club, UFO Casserole, to be asked why they are or aren't doing anything. And that's the rule. Boston saying, Farmer, did you see video on? Oh yeah, of course I did. The U.S. Hellfire missile that bounced off. It didn't bounce off, but did you see the 3 mushroom-looking things that fell out of the ass end of that after the Hellfire missile hit it, and then continued to follow the orb? That's weird. It took the debris with it, and the debris was there were 3 pieces of debris, all the same shape, all the same size. To me, it broke off the back half of that orb. And the 3 things that came out are entities in their own orbs. They look like something flying around. Boston saying, True Crime Web. Absolutely. Dr. Steve for scientific purposes. Junior saying, I'm heading to bed. It's way past my bedtime. Good night, everyone. Junior, good night. It's Friday night, Junior. I know it's 11:30 and past your bedtime, but you're retired, well, you're probably tired, but we're going to miss you now. And it's just not going to be the same without you. We'll get by. But I do wish you a good sleep, a productive sleep, and to wake up tomorrow feeling healthy, wealthy, and wise. I never cared much, by the way, for the Ed Sullivan Show. I'm a little young for it, obviously. We probably all are at this point. But of the late night talk show hosts of that day, I was a big Jack Parsons fan. Was that his name? Wait. Something like that. Parsons, was that? Did I get that right? I watched several in a row years ago, and I thought he was hilarious. Oh, Eli, asking how my car is. Thank you so much for asking. Cambo, thanks you. It needs an alternator and a battery, which miffed my mechanic because the alternator for a 33-year-old car looks brand new. It's still shiny, and it sits on top. Mr. Steve answering Olivia, and I'm going to read this out loud. Olivia, too, I apologize, but life has brought obstacles, and I made choices to assist cold case families move and take a break. And, you know, and you have a family and friends and like a social life, I'm sure, too, Mr. Steve. You know, I understand. Like, and furthermore, anyone that is still membered up like I am to Mr. Steve's channel, know that those funds are going to help real cases. So to me, it's still worth it. Knowing that you're out there doing stuff, Mr. Steve. I mean, some months the money may not be in there and it bounces until the money's in there. Okay. But I've never hit cancel. You know, and for me, knowing that you work with different organizations and do feet, both feet, not just one foot, but both of your feet are literally on the ground doing this. And all 4 of your tires are flying all over this entire country trying to help out real families in real situations. And I'm pretty sure Olivia wasn't trying to be a jerk, but, you know, I'm sure you probably, you know, heard it. The thing is, it's hard, you know, Mr. Steve, when people love someone's content so much. So I kind of understand how Olivia feels. Like, you really just want them to be on all the time. Now, me, on the other hand, people can't stand me, but I insist on being on all the time. So it's like the opposite thing, you see. Oh yeah, Boston saying basically, hey. Oh, Eli, car. So yeah, so my mechanic, listen, you guys, I don't know what I would do without, I call him my mechanic. I do that to keep things separate so you know who I'm talking about in my life. But he's a good friend. And he works at a shop here in town. It's a body shop, but, you know, he knows all kinds of other shops and people, and he's been wrenching on things for 30 years, you know. So, yeah, he just ordered it for me, that and the battery. Look, you know me, I didn't have cash for it. I was stuck in Kalamazoo. I got a dog out here in my RV. I mean, I knew he had water and what little bit of food he had in his dish when I left. And that he had been taken out and stuff. But I was gone for 24 hours in Kalamazoo because my car died on the road. It was the worst feeling in the world, not being able to get around and knowing that this dog was back here counting on me. You know, so it's and if it wasn't for my mechanic, he lent me his car tonight because the parts aren't coming in until tomorrow. So I'm driving around his little, you know, 5-speed Honda, which is badass, by the way. I love driving a manual, so you know, but I'm not reefing on it or anything. If you're watching, boss, you know, I'm taking it real easy on the potholes and well, Olivia acknowledging that, Mr. Steve, and giving you a thumbs up there. So let's just say thanks, Olivia, for acknowledging Mr. Steve and doing that and understanding. That's all we can do, guys. I mean, you know, you can ask questions and all that, you know, and people can choose to answer them if they want to. And Mr. Steve was gracious enough to do that. Thank you, Mr. Steve. But I'm thrilled you're just here as as what we call a citizen, and that you pop in occasionally and stop into this show and see what food we're talking about or what dumb UFO stuff we're talking about that night. Maybe one of these days I'll actually be talking about a cold case and you know, some of your skills will be able to help out a little bit in the chat. Boston saying thank you, Eli. I love it. And Boston saying, so farmer, where is the money down here? Where is the money down here? Where's the money? Oh, what do you mean? Like to send me money? Like when other shows have that little money sign that you can hit and send a super chat or a super sticker, you have to have 1,000 subscribers for that, Boston. We have 254. So when that organically happens, it'll be open for that. But I'm not going to sit around panhandling for. I mean, I let it scroll across the bottom. I got PayPal and Venmo. Oh, Mr. Steve, I'm right up there with you. Of course, you're spending money. I'm making money. But last year, 40 plus thousand miles, and the 10 plus thousand miles this year is a toll on many levels, let alone your lower back. And so the channel suffered, unfortunately. Yeah, but at the same time, Mr. Steve, you have every right to do whatever you want in life without having to explain yourself. Maybe you feel like you need to, but you don't need to me, that's for sure. I'm happy that you're engaged and involved at all, and that you're still using your life skills that you learned in a real way. I mean, I find that to be more beneficial to society, no offense, than broadcasting. What are you roofing about? You gonna be okay, big boy. This guy is such a... You ever seen a dog with white eyes? Dog has white eyes. I've never seen anything like it. Let's turn this light on. If I turn the light on, his white eyes will come out, because right now, what is that when people take LSD? What do they call that? Their eyes go like that. You know, the black part of their eyes. What do they call that? You know, it like bugs out, and all you can see, they look like aliens. You know. Oh, baby, I know. Don't make me put you in a headlock, baby. Please don't make me put you in a headlock. Not in front of everyone. I don't want to embarrass you. 1,006 months. Gosh, I hope they have more than that. Eli, shit. You mean $1,000 whole dollars? I hope. If I work really hard, I can make that in about a week. But I was going to say, Mr. Steve, though. But I understand. You know, you probably put on a lot of your miles, you know, highway driving, and that can be monotonous after a while. Like especially going through states like Iowa and Nebraska, which I did many times on my way between Colorado and Michigan, back and forth when I had family here and lived in Colorado. It was punishment. And even Southern Illinois to some degree was punishment. I enjoy driving, you know, but well, you know what? It's lonely, for one, if you're by yourself. I'm the kind of person that needs engagement. And as you know, if you're driving, you can't really be on social media or doing your channel. That's highly illegal in most states, you know, and it's not paying attention to the road. You don't keep a driving record like I have, and like I presume Mr. Steve has, although we don't know. He may be a lead foot. Or at least in his day, I bet he was. Bet he had some badass cars in his day. Maybe he didn't care about cars, though. Some people were happy with the Caprice, you know. Good for a cop car, good for a Sunday car, good for everything. And they did have some Bizalls to them, too. You could get, they were V8s, you know. Oh, Boston was saying, okay, good. You put the UFO comment back up. Yeah, Eli, I hope to do more than $1,000 in 6 months. You mean like saved up? You know, that's the thing I'm having the hardest time doing right now is saving money. When you're down in a hole so far and you take half for your house and you work for 2 months on that house without working because you're walking everywhere without a car, you get down into a certain place and then you do sell your house for half of what you thought you were going to get, and you have to pay off every creditor known to man by court order or you get thrown in jail. And you're not really left with anything, you know. So it's been real tough, you know. And part of my expense that I need to wrap up here is I live so far away from where I work, you know, and working there 7 days a week for virtually 7 days a week. I probably spend about $300 a month just on commute gas to get to the job, to deliver on. You see what I'm saying? So it'll be triple that with the gas I use to deliver, since I have to get an oil change about every 2 to 3 weeks, 2.5, 3 weeks. I'm through 4,000 miles. No problem. I got that car back in late February, and I've already put well over 20,000 miles on it. And you guys know I didn't really start delivering in earnest until a few months ago. So it's going to pack on the miles. And so I got to make like a move quickly where I'm saving, just in anticipation of having to improve my credit to get another car is what I need to be doing. But there are, as long as you're working hard, and my mechanic, believe it or not, has some side projects for me that I can make some money doing. So this is a really good dude. I'm going to stick with him. And this guy turns a turd into a gold mine. He's able to be one of those guys. He's a very successful eBay site where he'll repurpose car parts and all this kind of stuff, and he's going to get me into that a little bit. So we're hoping for I don't expect anything overnight, really. It gets frustrating sometimes delivering food that I can't afford to eat myself, but you know what? It all adds to character at the end of the day, and you can see I'm not starving to death. It's just hard to be at a level in life. If anybody's ever like lost shit and then had to start over, I'm 53 now almost. In October 17th, I'll be 53. 10/17/72 for any ex-police officers that want to run a what do you call that? Background check / driving record history DMV report, Mr. State. Because I always bring receipts with me. Our records are our human personal receipts to a degree. Doesn't mean that someone like a Richard Allen can't slip through the system, and be a serial killer even without showing those traits in a court of law before. We know that. But is he never going to be caught breaking and entering, starting a fire, or abusing an animal or something like that? There's going to be something, I feel, in your 50s if you're that nefarious in life. I feel almost every time that would be an indication of that. Am I wrong on that, Mr. Steve? Wouldn't there be something there, even if you could dunk back, and it's not legal, into the older juvenile years, especially with not young boys, but adolescent boys, I mean. Oftentimes when they, I know that when adolescent boys develop, when men develop mental issues, mental illness, schizophrenia, oftentimes it does come out in later adolescence for whatever reason. The hormones are going off in, our bodies for whatever reason, And I just wonder, because I feel like, I honestly feel like our records, what we bring with us, are our whole records, and I filed bankruptcy once. I think that's a bad mark on my personal record as a human for not being able to pay back my creditors at one point in my life. That wasn't this last time. I sold my house and paid them back like a big boy. All 100%, no deals. So whatever. But I did file bankruptcy once, maybe 20 some years ago. So that's one of those marks that that stays with a person. Now let's go on and talk about what Boston was talking about. Sorry, I should have muted that mic there. I said, so Farmer, I was saying apparently what I was describing as plasma and alive, my son said was probably a force field that was alive and feels like a sponge. I never felt one. You mean like an orb? I never felt one. I mean, they're all theories. I have a couple theories of my own, but it could be multiple things. Honestly, I see it as a information and control system, relaying information from one style orb to the next. Indoor, outdoor, and the metal ones that are in transport. Outdoor being the big orange ones. Indoors being the softball-sized blue or white spectrum, typically. Outdoor being orange or red spectrum and larger, typically. And the metal ones that they record, in my mind, are just moving through the air to their next, they're not transponding information. They're just sort of going, hey, we're going to go over to Qatar now and chill out over there and collect information and feed that back to whatever information system, non-human information system, is collecting that information. Oftentimes you'll see them flying all those New Jersey drones. That's still happening, by the way. And they said that was FAA shit. It's a total scam. It's a total lie. That's absolutely non-human intelligence, what has gone on this entire time in New Jersey. All those people aren't lying. Okay? These things are shape-shifting into from orbs of plasma into blinking craft quite poorly. But Boston, as far as what your what your kid said, has he had experiences with excuse me, I'm gonna take a drink of Fanta. Because nothing washes down a Cheech and Chong doobie like a Fanta orange, kids. Oh, by the way, Mr. Steve, I'm set at 18 and over only. I would never. And by the way, kids, all you need is good filtered water and some homemade apple pie. You don't need all the bullshit. Stay off that soda pop also. And I would think as a country, we would be over fountain drinks by now. And when I'm elected governor, I will be banning fountain drinks in the state of Michigan. Not because it's bad for you. I could care less about that. But because as a delivery driver, I have spilled hundreds of gallons of fountain drink on the floorboard of my vehicle. Thank you. Thank you. And I approve that message. Of course, you guys saw my post the other day about conservative Charlie Kirk's being assassinated. You guys know I'm a well-armed liberal. But I am not that ilk of liberal or conservative or human. I don't believe in taking another person's life for no reason like that. I find it highly disgusting. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the Kirk family and friends. And I'm so sorry you had to see that tragic scene unfold like that in front of all of you. It's just horrifying. Just horrifying. That anybody would think that's okay. But to me, being liberal, especially a liberal, the whole point of being liberal is that you're not a violent person. That's part of it, you know. So you're a fake. You're a faker. And you deserve to get the and you're in Utah, pal. Be glad they don't string your ass up. You're going to get the death penalty, and you deserve it. Every bit of it. You know how horrifying it is for thousands of people to be standing there? You got children. People's children could have been hit by that shit. All because you want to make, some political point? I hope you're happy. You didn't make any points. You made us look worse. Dick. I hope they touch your butt in jail. Boston says, like if you reach out to touch the metal, it feels like your hand is going into a sponge before you even get close to the actual metal. Like a force field, like some kind of barrier, energy, magnetic field or something. Look at that in the background. His head just popped up. Oh, what's going on, guys? One eye's looking this way, one eye's looking this way. He's such a cutie. No, I ain't talking about you. How does he know I'm talking about him? He's smart. And apparently the male owner on the one half, not the landowner that I deal with, but she's divorcing, whatever. Said he didn't want that because he was a stupid dog. What a dick. This is one of the most brilliant dogs I've ever met, by the way. He's handsome. The ladies love him. These lady dogs around here, they're howling all the time. And he was in my apartment. Well, this place I call my apartment on wheels with propane. He was in here for 24 hours because I was stuck in Kalamazoo, and he didn't poop in here anywhere. And he didn't pee in here anywhere. He's such a good boy. I mean, I immediately took him out for an extra long walk. Like, even after he went to the bathroom, it's not over, pal. You did so good. We're going 3 times as far. Like, now we're just going to have fun. I'm going to run with you and go through the field. We're going to chase butterflies. And we did that shit for a while today. It was awesome. Thank goodness for our mechanics. Boston says, it's one of those areas, if you're not highly skilled in that field, where you can be taken advantage of, male or female, or in between these days, whatever. Wherever you pee, you can be taken advantage of by a mechanic or... Mr. Steve says, troubled youth with criminal inclination are easily identified and tracked into adulthood. It's the troubled youth who have escaped detection and unknown that are society's nightmare. Right. But yet I would ask, out of how many serial killers or even mass killers, let's say, have been caught, how many had some kind of something in their background, and how many then conversely had nothing in their background? I'd be curious to know the percentage, especially I think with serial killers in my mind, of who had just nothing on their record. I mean, I think even, and I say I think because I'm not 100%, even Richard Allen had some sort of domestic violence, right? One time with something, not judging because I don't know the situation. And those kind of calls can be made sometimes without that situation even taking place. And sometimes the female is beating up the guy. It's not always one way in those situations. And I know that police hate even having to deal with that. And I don't blame them. There's nothing worse than getting in between two fighting things that supposedly love each other. Scary, scary business. Unpredictable. Unpredictable is what it is. Yet at the same time, if I see someone being abused up and down the road, I can't just drive by and go, I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. But that's what 911 is there for. You know, the police are happy to get involved in that situation. And I've exercised that more than once. And I think the advent of cell phones probably has prevented just a lot of on-the-street violence that there used to be. I'm not kidding you. When I was a kid, I would see dudes slapping the shit out of their partners outside the bar at night, and you just don't see that anymore. And people would be fist fighting everywhere back in the old days. Mr. Steve, maybe I'm wrong. And maybe now everyone just draws a gun and there isn't enough fist fighting and everyone just wants to shoot each other up or stab each other. But before all the cameras were around, I contend there were a lot more just physical altercations in neighborhoods. Oh, and plus people actually left their houses in the old days. They didn't just sit in there, you know, playing video games or broadcasting like some cheese nut out of Michigan. Whoever he is. I'm Olivia saying, Mustang, thanks, friend. And Boston saying, Olivia, we love you. And Boston saying, like, if you reach out, oh, we did that. Mustang saying, Olivia is awesome, one of my longtime friends. Okay, good. Good, Mustang. I know, I've seen Olivia around for years. I just have certain, I got to run it a certain way. You guys understand. But I try to be diplomatic. I'm not here to soapbox, you know what I mean? Chit! Dandy says chit. I'm late. But happy Friday, everyone, and happy Friday to you. Although there's only 9 minutes left in this Friday, Eastern time. Boston, True Crime Web. Some have said they thought he was or could be autistic at some level. This is so heartbreaking. Are we talking about, wait, who are we talking about? Okay, Mr. Steve first said, troubled youth with criminal inclination are easily identified and tracked into adulthood. It's the troubled youths, again, who have escaped detection. I think it'd be harder and harder these days with social media. It seems like you let your own cats out of your own bag. I mean, even this Kurtz killer had some Discord time where he was basically laying out everything he was going to do, you know? So it's left in some form in writing. Yet I know there must be a certain percentage of people out there with these evil intents that, yeah, if you ran a record on them, if you did this and that, ran DNA, you know, fingerprints, all this stuff, they would just come back clean, you know, because they've never been charged with a crime. Even I wouldn't come back clean. My fingerprints are in the system because one time, and I'll tell that story sometime maybe, but that's when I left the Radisson Hotel on a stretcher. It wasn't a great night for me, but it wasn't anything like I did something terrible. I had about a gram of marijuana in my bag, and the police arrested me for that afterwards, you know. But I will tell you that the Judge Carol Hewsome, who is now retired, she was a real stickler for any kind of drug charges. Again, I had a very, very small personal amount. And I even offered to smoke it with the police. I was out of my mind that night. I had taken quite a handful of pills and stuff, but not a good night. Not a good time. This has been at least going on 20 years ago, too, guys. I forgot what my point was. Anyways, I didn't get arrested. Like, first they sent me to the local hospital where I had to eat all this charcoal. And then 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail saying, turn yourself in. And I said to the cop, I said, I thought you said you weren't going to arrest me because I thought that night they were going to. And he goes, no, we're not going to arrest you. He goes, no. I said we weren't going to charge you that night. You have to turn yourself in. So I got fingerprinted for that. So honestly, I'm in the system fingerprint-wise. Although I had one broken hand, and they only fingerprinted my right hand. Little do they know I'm left-handed. Those fingerprints, they didn't make me take my cast off for that. If I do decide to, steal a candy bar or something, which I've never done in my life, I'll make sure to use my left hand. Although, guys, I mean, committing crimes these days, if they really lock down that evidence right away, I don't see how. It's like that movie Gattaca. Like, you might as well have a little mini vacuum and you're sucking off every little hair and you're taking your fingerprints off and any flake. What's this, touch DNA? I don't even understand that. The essence of yourself somehow is left behind and they can get DNA from it. So I don't understand how people do get away with shit. Other than there's not a sort of a centralized, focused means of always investigating smaller crimes. They're expensive. And then, basically there's no money to solve every single crime. You have to kind of focus on ones where the community at large might be a danger, is my assumption. At least I hope that if it has to go that way, that's the way it is, But hey, at least cops in Michigan don't have to worry about arresting adults for weed anymore. Unless they're driving around doing it, and then they should be arrested. You're not supposed to drive and smoke. That's disrespectful and dumb. Oh, Boston was asking a question, though. Mr. Steve, some have said they thought he was or could be autistic at some level. Oh, again, Boston, I missed who you were talking about, but Mr. Steve maybe knows. Are you talking about Richard Allen or about the shooter of Kirk's? The Kirk shooter. Oh, yeah, the trilogy of indicators. Yep. FBI studies, says Mr. Steve, have the trilogy indicators of early life of serial killers. They are offenders in plain sight. We will never identify, and when triggered, if crossed, you simply disappear. Whoa, that's scary. Excuse me, that's scary. I'm going to read that again just to myself. FBI studies have the trilogy indicators of early life of serial killers. There are offenders in plain sight. We will never identify. And when triggered, if crossed, you simply disappear. I believe that. Yeah, because they're laying it all out in their own heads. They're the only ones who know how it's going, And hard combat, I think that's just damn difficult. Interesting work, though. Very interesting work. I mean, some of those classic serial cases, and then they would make a movie out of it. But the movies would seem so real, I really liked some of those 70s and 80s movies where they were tracking serial killers. I think CSI work was probably a little bit newer back then. And I always have loved movies like these sort of gritty B-style New York movies where it's just kind of grainy. It's life on the streets, Maybe it's George Segal and his daughter turned into a prostitute drug addict and he's got to go beat up some dudes and get his daughter back or something, Those kind of like B movies. I love those kind of movies, like that life on the streets at the time movie, because it almost feels actually representative of what was going on, Think about Times Square in 1975. From what I understand, it is not a place that most normal adults or definitely children would be comfortable at all. And a lot of shenanigans. Dandy saying, I don't know. I think we'll get the full story on that dude who shot Charlie Kirk. What did they release about Thomas Crooks? I don't know who Thomas Crooks is, so I don't know. Was that a new person or a new suspect in it? I heard that he might possibly have a what do you call it, a co-offender with him. A dandy says, I rode my tricycle 5 blocks to the grocery store and stole a pack of chiclets. The police returned me and the gum. Well, and I bet you learned a valuable lesson. Like I said, the one time I'm 4 years old, I took a piece of open candy with my mom with me, and I'm eating candy on the way out of the store, and she knows she didn't buy me that candy. And she marched my ass right back in there, and I had to offer to sweep the floor, and bawled my eyes out. And I was 5'2". Yeah, I was 4 or 5 years old. Yep. But you learn valuable lessons. Yeah, right. The McDonald triad. And a lot of those traits are, again, like going to be what? Animal cruelty. The one that freaks me out, something they call it home invasion now. But they called it breaking and entering. Neither one of those words are terrifying enough for what that act actually, to me, is a total violation of your security and safety, especially when you're talking about personal items that maybe then people go through. One thing, if you come home and the place is destroyed and, oh, well, someone stole the safe, and the VCR and the car. But when your underwear drawer has been gone through, or your sock drawer, or like your kids' personal effects. And I don't have children, but I can only imagine the terror that must sort of cross you. Because to me, that's not someone who's hungry, trying to feed their family and going, I don't like to steal, but if I don't, my kid's not going to eat. That's a different deal to me. And maybe it's not to you guys, but it is to me. That's something like out of necessity to survive versus any other reason, basically, to enter someone's home and go through their personal effects. What could be more violating? Yeah, the McDonald triad. Fire, arson, animal cruelty, bedwetting. Am I right, Mr. Steve? I didn't look that up. That just comes back from memory. Although I'm sure you can mix and match. It doesn't have... None of these are hard rules, but they did notice that serial killers... you guys excuse me for 2 minutes. I think he has to go potty, so he has a lead right out here. I'm gonna put old boy on his lead and let him go out and do his business real quick. You guys can chat amongst yourselves if you want for the couple minutes. Oh my God, my fly's undone. Sorry about that. Now I clipped this right to my belt loop. Don't I? He knows. Come here, baby. I know. I'm so worried about this dog getting away and getting hurt. All right, hang on. Don't drag me out of the RV. I'll be right back, guys. I'm back. Yeah, he can be out there for a few. He's got the flea and tick medicine on him now, so I don't have to. Before I didn't. Shit, that wasn't very smart. I don't really like leaving him out there before he had that chicken flea medicine. Okay, here we go. I don't know what happened to my other glasses. I'll put these on. The McDonald's triad. Yeah, I couldn't remember the name of it. I knew it was a triad, though. I'm going to have a Pall Mall. Thanks to the night sponsor, Pall Mall. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Mr. Steve. Burglars with underwear fetish and defecating. I never heard of that one. I mean, I know what it is. I mean, we all do it, but not in a stranger's house on their floor or in their underwear drawer. I mean, what is going on with people, man? Isn't life complicated enough? Seriously, like, if your thing is breaking into someone's house and pooping on their stuff, just do the world a favor. You Thelma and Louise yourself. I mean, just drive off a cliff. Jesus Christ. It's damn disturbing. It's almost like they're saying, I'm leaving myself here. And I, like in a cruel, almost like a FU. It's almost like a FU to the homeowners, to be honest with you. That's what it feels like. That would really anger me pretty bad. And when you have someone like that in the community, how far away are they from raping someone or murdering someone in the right situation when you cross their path, like you said, at just that wrong time? Danny's saying, what the frick, Mr. Steve? My squirrel adventures is nil with this comment. Yeah, well, Mr. Steve, as an officer, has probably seen a fair number of horrific car crashes, a fair number of people hurt in horrific ways that could traumatize the average person. Oh, me, Mr. Steve? A dog toy hanging from my door? I don't think so. Oh, no. At my door, my door's a mess. I used to have a plastic cover on the little, you could slide it back and forth. All right, well, that's gone. I don't know what the hell, that thing broke off. It's a cheap little plastic slidey thing. And so the bugs were coming in. So then I duct taped a piece of aluminum foil over it. Is that what you're talking about, Mr. Steve? And then, like, the Price is Right, when you put your fist through the little foil thing and grab the prize money out of the little cubby hole. At some point, my hand went through the aluminum, not on purpose, but it's so weak, aluminum foil. It just, like, I was reaching, and then I never replaced it. So it kind of flops in the door, if that's what you are talking about, Mr. Steve. Thanks for, but not a dog toy. And this here is just the ugliest lamp in the world with tassels on it. So, fragile. He doesn't have enough toys, to be honest with you. He has a couple tennis balls. Yeah, I don't even do it in my own home. I don't even have a bathroom here, but that poor shell station. I don't need an explosively pooping human in my home. Give me a break. Like, I don't have enough chores. Yeah, and again, it's such a violation to be broken into. For anyone that's ever been broken into. It makes you feel really weird and uncomfortable in a certain way. Like, you just can't trust now leaving your own home. Is someone there going through my shit? Are they lighting my house on fire? Is someone I love going to be there when this happens? Or my animal? I caught people trying to break into my house once because I used to stop home on my house was right on my pizza delivery route when I worked for a hard location. I'd be driving by it all the time, keeping an eye on that place in the neighborhood. I go, why is there a chair up against my side of my house like someone was trying to climb up into the window? I must have been right behind them because the back whole door frame was cracked but not open. But I had a dog inside there. And I'm thinking the whole time, like, well, what are you guys going to do when you get in there? You're going to beat my dog to death? So I got, a whole bunch of security. I got cameras. Only reason I had that Arlo security camera system, was because of that incident. And that ended up coming in later and prevented me from going to jail after I pulled a 12 gauge on someone with a mask and a 7-inch fixed blade weapon trying to come up my steps. They were going to take me to jail till I showed them the friggin' film. And they still took my gun. 24-hour cooling off period. You better be glad Mr. Steve's in the room, Kalamazoo. So I got some words for you. It has taken on the appearance of Scooby-Doo in my mind's eye. What are you talking about, Mr. Steve? Oh, shit. You cracked me up. Oh. Are you still talking about the thing on the door? Damn. Dandy, do you see it? I don't know what he's talking about. I'm sure it's not even anything like bad or embarrassing. Like, it's probably just the way stuff is coming together, Mr. Steve. I mean, you were talking about this. That's not the dog toy. I know that. That's the mouse toy. Or Rot-Row Raggy. Scooby snacks everywhere. I don't even want to tell you what some of me and my friends used to call weed when we were teenagers. Hey, man, you got the Scooby snacks, man? Call Cheech and Chong. We were pretty innocent, though. We never had to rob nobody. I always worked. Ever since I'm a young teenager. Even at 10 years old, I had my own lawn mowing routes. Hell, I always had money. I didn't need to steal anything. I bought what I wanted. For the most part, as a kid. I had more free money as a kid than I do now. I tell you that. But, okay, my parents didn't charge me to live there. So whatever I worked at, they were certainly in favor of it. There was less shit they had to give me. And my mom would say stuff like, well, if you want this or that, then you have to work for it. It's a crazy concept to instill in a child. It really is. Just to the right of the shell box. Okay. Oh, I see it. I'm going to point. Wait, can I point? How do I do that? It's right there. I see a dog space. Is that what you're talking about? It's a mix of aluminum foil, duct tape, and an RV door handle. That's what that is. But I do see it, Mr. Steve. I could even tell you what kind of dog. It looks like a boxer. Tell me that dog doesn't look like a boxer. Or maybe, oh my God, what's the name of those dogs? Like a Scotty. Like a Scotty. I can't believe I see it too, Mr. Steve. Oh my God. It's one of those pareidolia things that possibly you may have been the only one, but it's even got 2 little legs on it. It's got a little black nose in the middle. You're not crazy. I feel crazier now. I would go over there and push on it and show you that it's just but I don't want to ruin it. If I move it around, it'll never look like that again. Oh damn, my coffee went flat cold. Ew. That's gross. I don't mind one of these fancy iced coffees. But regular coffee, I like it nice and, warm. Yep, I totally see that little Scotty there. Or whatever those kind of dogs are. Mr. Steve is awesome, man. So awesome. Dandy has no idea. She's like, I don't know. I'm half blind. And Mr. Steve, that's a hard one for people just to pick up on. I mean, as soon as you said, but next to the right of the shell box, that nailed it. Yeah. And it's funny too. Did you guys ever play that game when you were younger, like a kid? You like I Spy, I think it was called. So you'd have to look around the room and pick out one, sort of intricate object or mundane object, put it in your mind, and then the other person has to look around and guess what you were looking at. I always like that game. Mr. Steve, let me ask you something if you're still here. And if you're not, no big deal. I mean, you don't have all night, for God's sakes. Actually, okay, it's 12. Actually, this is your go time. You like a late night gig, so. But quickly, I would say, just ask. I feel like sometimes, okay, because I drive so much in so much city stuff, and I'm so intense on the driving, and I'm always taking in all the different information from driving. You know, who's stopping? I got to go to the right. There's a pedestrian behind me. All that. You know, zero at-fault accidents, zero tickets over 37 years of delivering. Okay, I've really tried to keep that record like that. I guess my question is, because I've been thinking about this, like, why do I feel like sometimes like I'm actually getting smarter in life, or that I'm able to see things as they happen in real time quicker? I feel like it's because of that delivery job all these years and being on the road and in so many different weather / traffic dynamic situations where you literally have to make split second decisions and not overcorrect. Because as we may or may not know, the worst thing you can do in a stressful situation is to overcorrect. You will drive yourself into a tree. You will drive yourself into a crowd of people. You have got to correct just enough to get through what you have to get through, and you have to put it there. Put it there. If you put the front end there, the ass end will follow, right? But I think all that driving and all that paying attention makes it so I can tie things together. Like, I feel like I can tie things together quicker sometimes, or I have good quick comebacks. I don't know if it's all related in my brain somehow. And I'm not sure, Mr. Steve, but you're not a brain surgeon. I mean, I just wonder if in jobs where you have to be on point all the time, if that doesn't help in other aspects of how you put information together, I guess. Maybe, and Mr. Steve, anyone could answer that, not just Mr. Steve. But I find it interesting why we end up how we do, because you'll hear that as we get older, you know, we lose some cognitive ability and we lose maybe our reaction time on the road a little bit if we have to hit those brakes or avoid, a raccoon running out from the side of the road or whatever. Although I don't do much of avoiding animals, dogs and kitties being the exception. But again, when an animal shoots out and you're doing 50 or 60 miles an hour, oftentimes overcorrecting causes the accident. I hope that's not bad information, Mr. Steve, but I have a rule. If there's a deer in the road, I drive through it. I drive through it, not around it. Because once I start driving around it, especially on icy roads and 2-lane side roads, like the Blair Witch Highway, that's when you fly off the road and turn into a long line of fire in the trees, or you kill a family of 4 the other way. You see what I'm saying? So it's really hard not to, like, when you're driving and something darts out like that, to not just naturally go like that. It takes immense concentration to drive through it. I've had to do it twice if there's not enough time to avoid. And sometimes there's not. Boston saying, Mr. Steve, have you seen cold cases on Nancy Lyons, Carthage, Indiana? Farmer found car, not me, running in middle road, back flat tire, trunk open. I think he had just left Walmart pharmacy. I think she had just left Walmart pharmacy. All her belongings still in car. And the name of that case was Nancy Lyons, Carthage. Or is it Nancy Lyons from Carthage, Indiana? I'm sorry. Must be Carthage, Indiana, based on their other worldly names down there already, like Young America. Indiana is a pure anomaly. Very cultish. Dandy says, when did that happen, Boston? Boston saying, found her 3 to 4 months later in a cornfield. Oh, so she's not missing. They found her deceased. In Columbus, Indiana, Nancy Lyons cold case. Well, I don't think they had arrested bad men yet from Greensburg, and that got 650 years. Was that your one, Boston? Thinking maybe 2002, so over 20 years ago now. Mr. Steve saying, everyone has a heightened sense that makes them different. I'm auditory. You may be visual. Auditory. What's that mean? Oh, things you hear. So if you hear something out of whack, like, okay, you're driving and the car starts missing, or you hear a pop in the background, you're not going, oh, that's probably just firecrackers. You're going, we got a shooter, you know? Yeah, I think visual must be what, I think it's forced me to be visual, honestly. Not a learning style. In terms of a learning style, I would consider myself to be a kinesthetic learner versus visual or auditory. That's the hands-on, you know, show me, wash, rinse, repeat, and then I can do it on my own. I refer to as a kinesthetic learner. Of course, kinesiology is the study of motion and the flow between earthbound objects. June 2002, maybe found remains October 2002. I think she worked as a nanny. Beautiful lady. That's sad. Oh, Steve saying, yes, Southern Gale highlighted that case a few days ago. Oh, Boston, go back and watch that from Southern True Crime Gale. Carthage, Indiana, or Rushville, Indiana. Okay. Dandy saying, Echo Lloyd has been missing from Edwards, Missouri since Mother's Day, May 10th, 2020. No trace of her whatsoever. Yeah, we got one of those around here. I did a show on it about a couple months after I first moved out to this property from Sturgis, Michigan. In fact, Sleuth Intuition, I believe, had done a previous show on it. Her name is Shank, I think. No. Oh my God. Oh, I can't think of it right now. Anyways, she shows up at this neighbor down the road's house. He's on the phone with 911 going, where are you going? It's something real weird. Then her and the car were just gone. But according to her, well, according to what he told 911, she told him was that her and her boyfriend got in a car wreck. She had come walking to his place with no shoes on in cold weather, no jacket, and bloody. And then he called 911, and then she decides to take off walking, and you can hear him going, but there's really no indication to me that this young lady's in the background of that phone call. You can't, I don't think she gets on the phone to talk to 911. Boston's saying, Dandy, I'll look that up. Anyways, yeah, Brittany Shank was her name. Brittany Shank from Sturgis, Michigan, just so you know. Pretty sure Sleuth did that, and then I did one myself on it. After one of the cannabis dispensary workers, I told him I did a show, and he goes, have you ever done one on Brittany Shank? It's something that happened at Sturgis. He moves to the top of my suspect list. Dandy says, thank you. Boston, her case gets no coverage. Well, let's say her name again then. That's Echo Lloyd, been missing from Edwards, Missouri since Mother's Day, May 10th, 2020. No trace of her whatsoever. And we hope for some resolution for her family and friends, of course. Yeah, so but in this Brittany Shank one, there is a 911 call, and to me, this neighbor sounds weird. I know that's not a good enough reason to call anyone a suspect, but where'd she go? And why was the boy, and then this boyfriend she supposedly had, where'd he go? This doesn't make sense. This happened back in 2017, I think. I'm pretty sure 2017 or 19. Oh, guys, geez, wow, we're coming up on 2 hours already. Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Yeah, so I went up to the gas station tonight to hang out with my new buddy, you know. I like this kid up there. I say kid, he's not a kid. He's got kids, you know. He's not as old as me, though. He's a younger guy, probably in his early 30s or something, you know. And I do too. I like working at night. Moonless nights, because that'd be very low lighting. So hearing is important when approaching situations from burglaries, domestic robberies, etc. Flashlights will get you unalived. Makes sense. Yeah, because you're just, well, I mean, well, you have all those instincts, right? Anyways, Mr. Steve, being part of your job description. You're not your average. You're not your average beat cop. Not saying you never did that stuff, but from what I understand, you task forced it for a while. That takes a special skill set. Also, from what I understand, not speaking from experience. Why was it that you liked working at night, I wonder? Was it just like the lack of heat and like way less people? And that even though per capita there was probably a lot more crime going on and it was probably a lot more dangerous, maybe that's why you liked it? That sense of adventure? Or was it just because you generally like being up at night more than daytime? I don't do well in the heat. I delivered pizzas at night for a long time. And in a college town, all the fun's, when you're younger too, I was younger then, all the fun's always going on, more at night than daytime. But that's not why you're a police officer. Boston says was going on back road. South side of Colorado into a nursing class. Deputy came up to me. I hope I have that Colorado thing right. I think I screwed that up though. Nursing class. Deputy came up to me in his car covered in sweat, yelling at me to get out of my car. I was trying to call my son. Something didn't feel right. You're going to tell us the rest of the story, I hope. Was he he wasn't a real cop, was he? Something didn't feel right. Wonder. That's scary. That would be so scary to run into someone impersonating an officer. I'm not going to lie to you. If they were good at it and they weren't actually an officer, that terrifies me for anyone, including myself. I'm waiting, Boston. Boston always got the great stories. Although I gotta say, Shay's story, Shay's Triangle UFO story, where she's actually had to where she debated a professor at college on stage over it, a debunker. She had to go up there while he called her why does this always happen to country hillbillies and all that? Only gives validity to the story. That was such an intense. Sorry about that. I paused. Let's see what Boston says. I looked up wires from his lights going into back window. So I took off. He was in full uniform, but fake sheriff car. It was in October, the month they found Miss Lyons. No kidding. Terrifying, Boston. I am glad that you were paying attention. And of course, you know that it is illegal, I believe, Mr. Steve, right? No one can pull you over in an unmarked car for speeding. I don't believe, without lights and crap like that going. That is because that's a serious, like, someone could impersonate that so easily and take advantage of the community without those lights and that official police car. I mean, after all, it's not the streets of San Francisco. No one's popping that single bubble on top of their car, detective. No one's buying that shit. You better have them credentials out. But I think that I bet you if there's one thing that pisses off a police officer more than anything, it is somebody impersonating a police officer. Boy, I bet they don't get treated very well, and they shouldn't. Oh, yeah, I know. I've read horror stories about it. It's terrifying. Terrifying. Because, that, again, that's one of those things that breaks through your whole trust barrier. When you see that uniformed officer and you're in distress, suddenly you go, oh, everything's going to be okay. Only for them to come up to you to not be who they say they are and armed. And now you're completely vulnerable. How awful is that? No, thank you. I hope they are very harsh on those people. They should be in prison for the rest of their lives, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, Mr. Steve, I'm going to go back to this comment. He likes working at night. So a moonless night's going to have a lot less light. So you have to be able to listen to almost like probably Vietnam or an active field of war where people are changing position and and then you have to question every little sound, you know, and make decisions based on that. And if anybody's ever watched, you know, even movies where cops are practicing with their weapons, you know, every third thing that shoots out's like some old lady with a basket of flowers, and you shoot her silhouette, and you're like, huh, you ain't making it to the force, you know. So it's not just a matter of plugging everything that pops up in front of you. You got to plug the right things, or you're not the hero, you know. I can imagine that'd be most difficult. Not a stress that I would want to have in life. It's tough enough to get people's starving children their food for the night. Nothing gets worse than a parent when you don't get their kid their food, man. And I don't blame them. I felt terrible. My car broke down on the road yesterday. I had 2 orders with me, you guys. I mean, I felt bad. I called the customers right away. So you guys are going to have to get a refund from DoorDash. I'm so very sorry. But I was literally stuck on the side of the road with my 4-ways going. There's just nothing I could do about it. So I ate that food. I didn't have any food. I didn't make any money for food. Was I going to throw it away? It was Popeyes. It was delicious. I ate all of it. I didn't steal it, though. Damn it. They instructed for me to throw it away. I'll be damned if I'm throwing away 2 good meals that I was delivering. Oh, Boston, that's terrifying. Yuck. Glad you were aware of your surroundings, Boston. Me too. And then my second biggest fear before we get on to Mr. Steve's response. I think it's someone impersonating an officer only for it to be a real officer and then, you know, get my head blown off or getting the hell out of it. Oh, 53-year-old men have to worry as much about an impersonating officer. I get the idea that it's something these creeps do to take advantage sometimes of, a lot of times females. I hate to say that. Not that guys can't be taken advantage of, or younger guys, whatever. I don't see any fake cop trying to take advantage of me. Thank you, fake cops. Hey, if you're willing to risk prison for me, you could have just asked me out on a date. You know what I'm saying? Like, good Lord. If isolated, okay. Now here's where the experience and the you know, a little bit of advice comes in. Mr. C from True Crime Web saying, if isolated, put on your hazards, call 911, and proceed to a populated location. Every true cop understands. Thank you for saying that. Side question: how are your math skills? Me or Dandy? My math skills, basic math skills, are excellent. But I don't really algebra well. I certainly don't trigonometry. Ever. I'm more of a I'm one of those artsy types, you know, Mr. Steve. Can't you see that? Can you see I'm one of those artsy liberals? Boss is saying thank you. I would say my math skills are decent because I've been making change my whole life. Someone gives you $100 bill and their order is 42 whatever. You got to have that coming back to them, right? I don't ever screw up change. And plus, my mom used to play this game with me and my sister whenever we get into a car and go on a long car ride, rather than hear me and my sister piss and moan about how long it was taking. She would always start out a math problem. 2 times 3 plus 4 minus this times that divided by that plus minus blah, 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 blah. And take it out as far as you could until you screwed it up. And that was a game that we had been playing since I'm, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old. Simpler for me when I was younger. My sister was 6 years older. And she was a lot better at it. And she was naturally good at math. And she got into algebra, trigonometry, all that crap. But I find things like algebra to be so incredibly frustrating for me. I just don't know how to assign values to things like that. And symbols, assigning values and figuring out problems. I'm glad that people can do that, though. So I would consider myself not great at math. But basic math, I would consider myself very adequate. Dandy's saying, I got a flat tire in Dubuque Canyon. Either no cell service, full-on winter. I accepted that ride. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, and people are, look, like I said yesterday, or a day before, I'm the big, hairy, scary-looking guy. But if I think someone's in distress, I'm not just going to drive by them. I would rather stop and say, do you need me to call someone? Do you want me to call the police? Or do you need to use my phone? Or do you need a ride? Provided it's not like a kid or something. In that case, I would just call the police. But if it's an adult, I'm saying. Because I know people are skeptical. And I don't want people to be too trusting of the general public just by virtue of what we do on here sometimes. More you guys than me, really, as I'm not been doing too much on the cold case end of things. But the thought of just letting someone, sit in the hot sun because their car broke down. Look, I don't want to talk about these scammers that are everywhere that are trying to get, hey, give me some money because I got to get back home and all this crap. I'm talking a genuine situation where someone's clearly their car broke, like I was yesterday. I must have had 10 people pull over and asked me if I needed help. It was pretty heartening. Yeah. I mean, I had the hood open. I couldn't have the four. And I'm back. Not one cop pulled over. I was at a busy intersection and I was pulled enough off the road. But typically, I mean, I've had it where I've broken down before, and an officer will just kind of pull up and be like, hey, you okay? You got, no, he just kept driving by. But the regular citizens, then again, they may have insight to, because I have full coverage, I had already called a tow truck and all that. It's very possible that on their information system on the inside, they would have seen that I've already called a tow truck. Oh. Boston saying, Dandy, I then called the hotline for missing Nancy Lyons. The man was very unkind, uncaring, just said, okay. He didn't even ask me where this happened or what the man or car looked like. Yeah, what's the point of calling in a tip if they're not getting those fine details? I don't know, Boston. That sounds sketchy to me. You sure you called the Nancy Lyons hotline? Yeah, I know autocorrect can get on my nerves. Fair enough. We will talk. Okay. I like the idea of us talking. Boston says hotline. I knew what you meant, Boston. You know me. I always correct you guys. I don't just read it like you're Rubish. Like I do the I fat finger stuff all the time, and I said Act 2 of me being elected governor of Michigan will be to put a physical barrier between the I and the O button on every keyboard across our state. And I endorse that message. A dandy saying that would be so frightening to take a ride. Oh my. You know, Boston, it is frightening, but you know what also hurts real bad is frostbite. Frostbite hurts, and you lose digits, and things fall off your body that you don't want to fall off. All kinds of extremities can fall off your body in frostbite. Ask Napoleon. His is still in a jar somewhere over there in some museum. I sat behind two elderly people that didn't hesitate to stop. I'm ever so grateful. It was so cold. I was so very grateful yesterday that I had full coverage. Okay. And that includes towing. And first, I thought it was just a battery. So I called for a battery charge. They didn't send a tow truck. It's in my head. Again, my own head. I can transition that charge into a tow if it doesn't work. No. Now they send a guy in a car with a charge pack. He wasn't towing shit. Excuse my language. So that was an oversight on my part. So after that didn't work, I then had to refill out another ticket and use up, that full coverage benefit, which was fine, and had it towed down to my buddy's shop. But that took over 3 hours then by the time that was done. Although the tow truck driver was super cool, ex-pro wrestler from my neighborhood. And so it was really fun to meet him, I'm Dandy saying I had no communication for over 5 miles out of that canyon. I appreciate it didn't go south. Right, Dandy. I mean... they can be, depending on where you're at. I mean, I was there for a few years, yeah. I can tell you one Christmas, I was 78 sunny, and I cooked a 2-inch thick ribeye out in my backyard. And then the next day, it snowed 17 feet. And then it all melted and made a big river and washed everyone away. Colorado's nutty, buddy. People that are in Michigan have always had a saying, if you don't like the weather, stick around 5 minutes. They've never been to Colorado on the Front Range to see how weather actually changes in literally 5 minutes coming across a mountain range. It could be one scene right here. I never saw like sheets of rain like that, When you live in a, what are we here? 300, 400, 500 feet above sea level, in Michigan. It's sort of almost a soup bowl. It's not down below sea level, but it's level, And so you don't get much horizon. Whatever, or view, big sky, as they say. When I drove to Alaska, I finally realized what they meant by big sky country. You come over a ridge, you come around a bend, and it's like, oh, wow, you could just see forever, it seems like. So cool. Mr. Steve says, frostbite, snow, ice. Few reasons I don't travel north from December to March. Yeah. Really west either. Anytime you're hitting elevation, honestly, Mr. Steve, you could go some places, you can go to Durango probably, but to cross the Rockies and then get to the other side, anytime during those months, especially, you're really risking life limit insurance premium. You really are. And even sometimes, in the high mountains, there are what they call chain laws. Now, when I lived out there, I never drove up in the mountains in the winter. And I didn't have chains for my little Mazda. But they don't let you drive down the road unless you got chains you can put on your vehicle. And that's where you'll see, like, these giant snow machines. Well, it's like they cut a square wall. It's like the wall from the drifts and crap, and then they cut through it. Like, it's completely square. It's like a tunnel without a roof on it, almost. That's how deep it is. It's kind of cool, actually. It's kind of cool. Yeah, Colorado's gorgeous, but they just don't get enough rain for me. The very first year I went out there, they still had normal rain weather. The foothills look like the Irish hills, look like an Irish Spring commercial that spring. Wildflowers and greenery everywhere. And it was brown every year after that. I've never seen it like that again. And that was 1994. Spring of 95. One trip to Idaho, it was snowing in May. Oh, we've had that. But, excuse me a second. I got to blow my schnoziola. You guys have to, go through all my real life stuff with me. Sorry. I know I should, pause and do all that, but I mean, we all blow our nose, My old boss used to always say, because in Colorado there's a place called Idaho Springs, and we'd be driving down to Denver, to go to a company meeting. He'd say, Idaho, you to hoe. He was from Kentucky. He was a gumpy white guy named Steve Klan, Klan. That's no shit. I probably shouldn't put his name out there. You can't help his name. Just kind of, he was from Louisville. He knew John Schnatter. He worked at store number 2, which is the one after the one where John Schnatter's daddy owned the bar, and he knocked out the broom closet wall and put his first pizza oven in, if you know the legacy of Papa John's. Well, I knocked the wall out of my daddy's broom closet and then bought me a Camaro. A Camaro which was later stolen in Detroit. He hated Detroit. And then he got fired and off the board for saying the N-word on a company call. That was on the news. We have chain laws. Don't visit Colorado in the winter. Oh, you're in Colorado now, Dandy. That's right. You're at southwestern Colorado, right? If my memory serves me. Boston saying, bless both elderly people. Although Boston, you have to admit that they're not all great. Some young people who are jerks do indeed turn into older people who are still jerks. It happens, But I find myself lightening up in a lot of ways as I get older, and becoming more conservative in other ways as I get older. Even though, I'm not too socially conservative, but if it's for the betterment of the community, I'm pretty damn conservative these days. Just how it is, I guess. That's how it goes, Hey, welcome to UFO Casserole on the Derek Farmer Network. Mr. Steve, it snows in the higher elevations all year. It is stunning. It is stunning. It is stunning. Especially those southern Rockies with that sharp peaks, as opposed to the Canadian Rockies, which are just a lot more dulled off. You don't get those vivid, sharp, peaks on the Alaska-Canada highway. That's a long drive, Mr. Steve. When I drove to Alaska and back and delivered pizzas in Anchorage in between, that was over 10,000 miles in 6 weeks. That was a lot of driving. Really cool, though. Never, ever trade that trip in. Camped out in a hammock all the time up there and back. It was awesome. That would have been around 1994. Grand Junction. Okay. Yeah, I had some friends in Grand Junction. Mexican gal. Maybe you've seen her. Sorry. The last best place before you enter Utah. 31.5 miles to that border. Yeah, I find Utah pretty interesting. You got scorpions down there, Dandy? I need to know. And what kind of spider? What's a spider situation? And has anyone ever heard of a cave cricket? Because we got lots of battery tonight, and I'm just getting started. I saw this thing. I was watching these guys do this exploring in caves, And he goes, whoa, look at, and they're like, it's a half cricket and half spider. I couldn't think of anything more terrifying than a spider that can hop and make noise with its little legs, and then can also sink a deadly toxin into you. Jesus, is there anything? Here you got a guy like Mr. Steve. I'm not speaking for you. This guy's not afraid of other humans. he's going to look a man down and take him out if he has to, I think. Pretty sure. To protect himself and or the community. Mostly the community and his loved ones. But does a real scary spider put a fear into you that no human can? For me, yes. A spider does something to me. I don't even like to say it out loud because then they know. And I'm in a field here, you know. I'm really surprised that I haven't had more issues with those things. Whoa. Oh, shit, the dog's outside. Oh, I'm going to go get the dog in here, guys. I don't want him to be out there too long on the lead. I'm worried he's going to choke himself off or something. I forgot. Ooh, but I do want to read about the scorpions. I mean, not about them. I'm just trying to narrow down if I make a move. I'm not moving nowhere with scorpions, nowhere with cave crickets, but I want to be someplace central eyes in the country with a deep cave system for what shit is coming our way. I'll be right back. Hang on, boy. Oh, let me get your other little thing. Hang on. All right. I'll be right back. Come here. Good boy. Get you some water now. Come on, get you some water. Get up here. Come on, get up here. Good boy. Dang. I'm back. I better start heating me up some coffee water here. Oh, starting to get chilly out there, guys. Starting to get chilly in here, to be honest with you. Already. Whew. Yeah, I think I might be staying in this shed here for the winter. Well, it's not a shed. It's bigger than a shed. It's a work. Yeah, exactly, Mr. I knew you hated spiders. I just knew it. They're scary as hell. And creepy crawly. They have no regard for your personal space. At all, whatsoever. They're really criminal, in my opinion. Okay, now go lay down for right now, baby. Let me finish this little show up here. And then it'll be night-night anyways. Mr. Steve says, on one trip to Idaho, it was snow. Oh, we did that one already. Why did I read that like I hadn't done it? Danny says, it's getting to be a no travel time soon for me, Mr. Steve. Have you ever driven Red Mountain Pass? Where is that at, Dandy? To then narrow it down a little bit. There's so many passes. Oh, if you drove I-70, you absolutely was close and passed by me. I've definitely driven I-70. Isn't that the one that goes to Greeley? What towns are on I-70? Is that Denver? I mean, I know it's on. Oh. Well, I-25 takes you to Denver. Is I-70 takes you to Boulder and Greeley, maybe? You gotta remind me of this. I haven't lived out there in nearly 30 years, so. Big fish. Oh, good God, big fish. She always waits until 4 hours. I'm just about ready to go off, and you know the rule. If someone new comes in the room, I can't leave. How you doing, Big Fish, Small Pond? Glad to see you. Mr. Steve says, I hate spiders. You can't hear them. Oh, well, these cave crickets, you can. They chirp like a cricket, and then they sink their fangs into you. No, don't be sorry. I'm glad you're here, Big Fish. Thank you for being here. I mean, I'm probably winding down if I said, but we had a whole UFO thing, you know. A whole stuffing episode. What kind of stuffing we like and so forth, you know, all the important stuff. Red Mountain passes through Ore to Silverton on the way to Durango. I've never been to Durango. I mean, I was in Colorado 4 years, but I never made it that far southwest. And when I did drive south, I just drove 25 south down to Albuquerque area, actually Bernalillo, New Mexico. No, Dandy, are they poisonous? Wait, what did you say? Oh yeah, I wanted to go back to this. Thank you, Dandy. In some places, there are scorpions. In the Redlands, we have sun scorpions. Look that up. It's terrifying. Well, I'm not moving there. That's what I thought. And what about Utah? Probably has them too. I need to get north enough to get away from scorpions minimum. Like, I know I can't avoid spiders in my life, right? But why move to a place with a new, scarier thing that just crawls around like it owns the place? And this thing has like a wrapped up tail. It's like, you know, just waiting to strike you like a cobra coming out of a basket, you know? Ugh. I don't like insects in general. I really don't. And if I had to maybe like give one bad check to the creator, we could have done without the insects, dude. Just saying. You know? Like, really, I don't know if like you were punishing us or if we really need them to make all the flowers grow and shit, but we could have done without the insects. Thanks. I can't really see what good crabs is doing anyway. My God, unless you're a baboon and eating it up, you're you know, your friend's ass or something. It's getting late. Boston says, Danny, that looks like a beautiful area. Oh, it's gorgeous. All this sandy stone everywhere. A couple trees. Oh, they probably worship those 3 trees. A Big Fish saying, I like onions and celery in my stuffing. Of course, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's to me, it's not stuffing without that shit. Like, I don't want some hippie stuffing with like braids and patchouli or whatever weird cranberry sauce you want or cranberries, you know, in it. Big Fish, yes, it's a must in dressing. You are back to dress. We have come full circle on the Derek Farmer Network tonight. From cold case murder to cold stuffing. Thanks for joining me. I love you guys. Well, I really had intended to get out back that way, but that all kind of fell through, unfortunately. But oh well, as is life, you know. It doesn't stop you from having to go on and just keep doing your thing every day, like we all do. Not salad dressing. I mean for turkey, you know, or rancher. See, I'm a Roquefort. I'm more of a Roquefort. I'm bitter like that. You're mixed. Really? Like a ranchy Italian? They call that a Eugene. Oh, you know. Hey, you're messing with me. I know. I know you are a Big Fish. I do like a good bowl of greens, though. Green stuff. Not greens per se, but different sorts of lettuce and vegetables. I think can be a very pleasurable experience, in my opinion. because I'm not a big vegetable fan. So to like eat a big pile of asparagus or those little mini cabbage heads, what do they call it? Brussels sprouts? Little mini cabbage head, which is also my nickname in elementary school, are disgusting, even when cooked in bacon grease. Dandy saying, we're not talking stuffing. We're talking nonsense. Happy Friday, everyone. Exactly. Big Fish saying, I thought we were talking salad dressing. We could be. I think we did that last show, though. I don't think you were here for that. I mean, we went over some pretty small batch dressings, if you will, Big Fish. Single barrel dressings, we call those. A single malt blue cheese, you know. Yeah, of course you do. Of course you like oyster dressing, Boston, because your name is Boston, and you like all things from the sea. And in fact, you probably like the show because I somehow resemble a white trash Gordon's fisherman. But you can trust the Gordon's fisherman. With that being said, you guys, thanks for joining me tonight from the mountaintop in the swamp. This is Derek Farmer and the Derek Farmer Network. I want to thank everybody who was here. Mr. Steve. I want to thank Big Fish Small Pond, Dandy Lioness, Mini Cabbage Heads, Eli. I want to say hi to Junior Johnson. I want to say thank you so much. Of course, Boston Christian. You know I love having you here. Hiawatha popping in. I don't know if you stuck around. Maybe you're doing something else, but even if you didn't, I hope you rewatch. And even if you don't, we'll see you next show. And so I'm glad you popped in and said hi. And hope you're doing okay. And Junior's fast asleep by now. I wonder if he's wearing those same jammies like he is in his profile picture. I kind of imagine that he probably is. Yeah. Dandy, thanks for popping in, Dandy. You've been really solid lately on the chat end of things, and I just appreciate all you guys in chat a lot. I mean, without you guys really saying stuff in chat, for me, it's just no fun. So the fact that you're willing to come on here, and even Olivia, thank you so much. Sorry if I sounded shitty earlier. I just, you know, I get a little defensive of the chat, you know, a little bit, and I hope that didn't come out too much. But you're always welcome here, and hopefully your questions were answered adequately. With all of that being said, thank you once again for joining me. We'll see you soon. I'll keep you guys informed of my life as I do. I don't know. Keep your eyes on the skies. Talk soon.